Hello? Enjoy the last Genshin stream of the year now. There's a chance I won't finish the hangout today. But hey guys. Welcome to the stream.
I failed my exam today and was so sad until I saw your Twitch notif Bentai for making my day.
Oh. I'm so sorry to hear that, Akitoyas. You'll get the next one. There will always be another time. Also, Cornfiles VT, thank you so much for the raid. I appreciate it. Hello everybody. I know I haven't streamed in a while. But that's because I've been really busy. Could you imagine that I've been busy?
9 months.
Sagacity, thank you so much for the 9 months.
Finally, the Hangout Quest 3.
3, thank you so much, Luya Frost.
We almost at that year. Let's go.
Let's go. Thank you so much, Lise. Yeah, it's been busy. It's like a good kind of busy.
Hey Ben, I hope you're doing well. I saw on Twitter you were sick. I hope you're feeling better now. Wow, time do fly by. Have a great stream.
I'm enjoying all these sub messages. Thank you so much, guys.
Hi Ben. Last time I joined I told you I was writing fanfic at work. Last time you streamed I wanted to hop in and say I was on the highway. Alas, currently just at work.
Viet Blue Kur, thank you so much for the 4 months, and yeah, you've been tuning in so many different locations. Bibra Curiosa, thank you so much for the 8 months and the gifted sub, and Evie, thank you so much for the 2 months. I'm feeling better now. I was gonna stream on. I've been having some Crohn's issues lately, but like it's just the huge. You know, I have stomach aches pretty often. But sometimes they get bad enough where I'm just like, man, I don't want to do anything. Sometimes I've had stomach aches during streams that I just don't talk about because I don't want to be constantly saying, oof, owie, my tummy hurt, because I feel like it would get old eventually. Rat Girl, thank you so much for the biddies. Congrats on putting in your 2 weeks at your current job. The future will be brighter. So yeah, it's been busy. I wrapped on Undead. Like we finished recording the last episode in English, so now I've got a lot more free time. So yeah, I was almost getting emotional after we were done, but yeah, Kite, the subbed episode, like the subbed last episode is already out, and the dub's working its way there too. Clan Rena, thank you so much for the 5 months. But yeah, it's been busy. You and Jackie are amazing in Undead Unlock. Thank you. Appreciate that. Void Beanie, thank you so much for gifting a sub. You gotta have a stream deck effect where it says "stummy hurt" with confetti. Maybe. I just don't like. I don't like calling attention to it as much as that. Evie, thank you so much for the 10 gifted subs. Thank you, thank you. You just got your guaranteed Noivilati. He's so strong. I'm glad to hear that. Mule the Galaxy Gator, thank you so much for getting a sub. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. You American streamers always streaming earliest fujuk in the morning. Rolling eyes emojis. Lo siento. Anime Gino Linetti, thank you so much for the biddies. So yeah, we're gonna do the hangout. And we're gonna listen to somebody complain about their life and maybe help them. I don't know. So we'll get started with that very soon. Someone asked earlier if I was gonna keep playing Genshin after the hangout. I've already said this in a previous stream, but probably not. Not for a while. I think the next big game that I'm gonna play often after Genshin is gonna be Fallout. We're gonna do a Fallout New Vegas run. Mochi Fried Hop, thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. Do I remember what I recorded in the Hangout 4,305 years ago? No. Modded? It's gonna be minimal mods. I do have, like, a few cosmetic mods to make the game look a little nicer. But it's gonna be pretty vanilla as far as... Like, it's got mods to, like, fix the game. But, yeah, it's gonna be mostly the stat... Because New Vegas is just amazing. I don't want to, like, touch it too much. Like, why would you mod a perfect game, you know? That's why the only mods are just, like, to fix the bugs, because Bethesda's creative engine makes me want to kill myself. GK Paladin Torike, thank you so much for gifting a sub, and Nodder Monster, thank you so much for gifting 4 subs. Appreciate it, thank you. And Steven Skyders1 and Noah Soleno, thank you so much for the biddies. I should stream Dark Souls? I mean, I could always play Dark Souls again. Will the VODs be put up anywhere? Exclamation mark, YouTube is my VODs channel. Anime Jelly Netty, thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. And Deco, thank you so much for resubscribing for 7 months. I think exclamation mark VODs is also there too. But yeah, I have a VODs channel. All of my shit gets uploaded there. Like, I do confess that some streams were lost into the abyss. I think one of the Little Nightmare streams unfortunately did not survive. Or rather 2 of them. So they're gone forever. I completely forgot to highlight them. So Twitch is like, I'm gonna delete this, Lamau. So they will live on in the hearts of the people that watch those streams. And the Finfrog compilations, yes. Yeah, the Twitch deleting stuff is why I was like, oh, I should probably stop doing the highlight thing and just have a YouTube to dump shit in. And like exporting to the YouTube is super easy. I just press one button and it's on the channel, so easy peasy. Did that happen with the Lethal Company stream? Nope. I mean, you could have just checked the channel and found out for yourself. The channel's up to date, just so you know. Everything that I could have exported to YouTube is on the YouTube. So if it's not there, it's gone forever. But moving forward, everything's gonna be on there, so there's no more danger of anything getting lost forever. All of the Void Stranger streams are on YouTube, so... Speaking of, yes, I still need to go back to it. But I've just been so busy with other stuff. But yeah. We're gonna boot up this Gensh very soon. Oh, speaking of VTuber shit, I have hit up an artist to get a character design going. So, the ball is officially rolling. Ben is cute anime girl. Maybe. Have I read any Kaveh fics? No. Angel Midnight, thank you so much for the 12 months. No, I've never read fanfics, like in general. I know a lot of people that do, but it's never been my thing. I am not a consumer of fan content. Ben, I wanted to ask you an important question. If I made you a drawing, would you consider it bad? I don't want to sound like a pick-me girl, I just want to give you a portion of the... Listen, if you want to make a drawing for me, do it for yourself. Like, I will accept fan art happily. I always like looking at fan art. It's great. It's fun. But always create things for yourself first. You should endow yourself with joy when you create stuff creatively. Which is, like, one of the main things of the thing we're gonna play soon. And by soon, I mean, like, now. Silver Firefly, thank you so much for getting a sub. And Ganyu Lover, thank you so much for the 2 months. And Paladin Torike, thank you so much for the biddies. I hope you enjoy the grilling. Tavat? The Archons? The Harbingers? I just want to grill, for God's sakes. Anyway, you can probably hear the login music soon. What do you mean question marks? I was quoting a funny meme. I do that often. Alright. Do I have C6 Kaveh? No. Did Ben did Fontaine story, or is he stuck in 3.6? I have no intention of streaming the Fontaine story at this time. It's right now. This could potentially be the last stream, but it's probably not. I don't think we're gonna do all of Kaveh's stuff in one stream. If it was the final Genshin stream, I would probably market it as the final Genshin stream. Who's your favorite character you voiced? Again, this question is like asking me to pick who my favorite child is. Wow, it's that guy. Wow, it's the other guy. I'm gonna do this to get rid of the thingy. I already did the Nouvelette, Nouvier, thingamabob. I'm not picking my favorite child, okay? Anyway. As you can see, so many people were like, Ben, you need to get the keys. Ben, you need to do your commissions. Ben, you can't unlock the hangout unless you do your commissions, Ben. You need to do them. Look, I did it. I did the commissions, and I unlocked it. I didn't need to have people tell me how to do it, because it says right here at the bottom of the screen, obtain 8 daily commission rewards to receive a key. And so I did 8 commissions, and I got the key. That's all I needed to do. Anyway, I told you we were going to do the hangout, so let's get started. We're going to be doing Noelle's hangout. Hopefully we'll see about getting it done. I'm hoping to maybe get 3 of the endings, but we'll go ahead and we'll do it. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. We're actually gonna do Barbara's. So we're gonna go right ahead, and we're gonna start. Nah, I'm just kidding. All right. Here we go.
The ability to appreciate beauty is
Shut
an
the
important
fuck up.
virtue.
Shut up! Alright, here we go. Walk around Sumeru City. Okay. There he
I've
is.
taken a look at your proposal. It's much better than the ones you showed me before, but I'd still like to make some changes.
Oh, come on, not again. Isn't this the 6th proposal I've shown you? What's your issue this time?
When I was recording this line, I remember expressly that I had a ton of trouble saying 6th proposal.
It's a bit hard to put into words, but the design still doesn't look quite right to me.
I have to say, that's a terribly vague and unconvincing explanation. Please enlighten me. What would feel more right to you?
For starters, don't you think this roof is jutting out a bit too far from the top? It looks almost like the head of a fungus.
Woo.
Woo. Thank you so much, Silver Firefly, for the 2 months.
This door, too. I don't think it needs to be nearly this large. If you could reduce it to around my height, you could use the leftover materials to construct a few more rooms.
But what if there's somebody taller than you, Badawi?
The roof and the door are the most fundamental parts of a building. If we were to change them, then what would be left of the design? Even if the soul of the building won't be lost, all traces of architectural style would be gone. Anyone with the slightest inkling of architectural knowledge would know to leave them alone.
Oh, I understand the principles of what you are saying, of course, but the truth remains that I'm still a bit unhappy with the design as is. Is there anything else that you can do? Oh, actually, I just got an idea. Can we get rid of all the extraneous sections on the roof, so the whole design will just be one vertical structure, similar to that of a tree trunk?
What if we made a tower?
What?
Don't architects often say that symmetry makes everything more balanced and pleasing to the eye? This way, the proportions will be completely balanced.
A pizza tower. So true.
I really don't know how you managed to come up with such a ridiculous idea. Wait, don't tell me. Someone hired you specifically to commission me and put me through the ringer? Come to think of it, though, I really don't think I've gotten on anyone's bad side recently.
I love how Kave's first response to this is, am I being gaslit?
Anyway, that's it. I will not be working on this commission anymore. Goodbye. Maybe you can find yourself some other genius who'll be able to satisfy your demands.
Hey, young man, please wait. Oh.
You blew it. Kaveh looks like he's in a bad mood. I should go check up on him. Dang, this dude fell to 0 hearts. Rip in peace. Look at you. Sleeping in the middle of public.
Taking this commission was truly the worst decision ever.
Hey, what's up? Are you alright?
Oh, hey. I wasn't expecting to run into you here. Actually, while we're on that, what are you doing here at the tavern? Don't listen to anyone who says that drinking is an elegant pastime. It's no good for your health.
You heard it here, folks. Don't drink, or you'll die. I saw you arguing with someone just now.
So you saw all that, did you? Ugh, I thought I was in the clear. I made sure to double check that nobody I knew was around.
It's so nice seeing lip syncing. I know that for reasons they can't have lip syncing in like regular cutscenes, but like seeing it here has made me realize, wow, it really does help a lot with having characters feel more real. Thank you so much, Polovanik, for the biddy.
Anyway, thanks for looking out for me. Honestly, it wasn't that big of a deal. I'm used to it by now. Stress is just an inescapable part of being a working adult. Boss, I'll have a glass of wine, same as last time. Do you want something too? I'll put it on my tab.
I'll have a glass of juice.
Wine and a glass of juice coming right up.
Traveler's getting juiced.
I know you're already keeping a secret from me, but if you could add this one to the list as well, I'd really appreciate it. Arguing with a client is not a good look for me. If word gets out, other potential clients might be afraid to work with me. That guy, though, what was he even going on about? All those ridiculous demands of his? He's just a blabbering fool trying to act like a know-it-all.
Kaveh seems a lot more honest after he's had some wine.
Another glass, please, boss. I'm not leaving today till someone has to carry me out.
You've got it, sir. I gotta say, though, it almost feels like you're saying that every other day now.
Kaveh, you're an alcoholic! Tsukishis, thank you so much for the biddies.
It really is every other day that you'd run into a client who knows nothing about construction requirements or architectural style. If this was in the past, I'd never have gone through 6 whole drafts trying to accommodate the client's preferences.
Construction requirements or architectural style also took me another take to get, because that's a lot of, like, words.
But perhaps getting used to this just means that I've grown numb to it. I've worked on so many projects since graduation, and none of them have been approved at the first pass. I would spend a lot of time altering my designs, and by the time the clients were finally satisfied, all my passion and enthusiasm would be gone. It feels like I'm straying further and further from my artistic vision with every change I have to make.
Tulipflower, thank you so much for subscribing. Welcome.
I suppose, though, that just sticking to your guns and completely disregarding other people's feedback would also not be a good thing. All of this makes for a real paradox, one that particularly crops up in my work, too. In the end, what is the true meaning of art? Should I see it as a divine gift of inspiration from the gods, or an expression of the light of my own wisdom?
This like logical, like through thought that these hangouts have is like when we started recording it, I was like, oh, this is gonna be great. Like, I'm genuinely gonna have a wonderful time doing this. Paul Vanek, thank you so much for the 5 biddies. Like, I've literally a few minutes before I started the stream, I was talking to whoa, drastic lightning change. Literally before I started the stream, I was talking to friends about this, like other actor friends, about how, you know, our jobs are a collaborative, creative endeavor, and like, sometimes it sucks if you're working with a director that doesn't really help you collaborate in that way. It wasn't Nazi. I know other actors that aren't Nazi. So it's just like the nature of art as a whole is a fun subject to talk about, and I'm glad that there's like there's a character in a video game that like talks about this stuff, because it is something we all struggle with as artists.
Here's your drink. How are you already spouting nonsense after just one glass? Your tolerance is usually much better than that.
Tulip Cloud, thank you so much for gifting a sub. Also, you know, here's the contrast with Lambad being the like a normal person who's just like the meaning of art. What kind of fucking bullshit is that?
Boss, what do you think is the meaning of art?
I love how he got drunk during Lambad's comment.
The meaning of art? Really, my friend, who in Sumeru understands art better than you?
I'm trying to remember if, like, what the drunkenness... I think it was like the direction was like, oh, by this point you're already drunk, so I did it. But then I think for as soon as we start one of the routes, like it peters off because there's so much talking, and I didn't want to have just the drunk speech the whole way through because it would just get grating after a while.
Anyway, I don't know about art, but I do know that I'm interested in business, and some patrons are waiting to be served. So, you'll have to excuse me for now. Just holler if you need anything.
Have you ever been an alcoholic? What a question to ask somebody.
What do you think, traveler?
I honestly have no idea. Art is something that... Well, I'm going to answer honestly for this run that we're doing. Something that embodies the creator's efforts and dedication.
Exactly. So our thoughts on the meaning of art are rather similar.
See, but for this route, because we recorded, I think, this route later than the other ones, I've already... The drunkenness already slipped out.
In Sumeru, and especially Sumeru of the past, the arts are not a popular discussion topic. Trying to talk about the arts is basically the key to killing any conversation.
I mean, there is a bit of it. I feel like having his views on art reaffirmed sobered him up a little bit.
It's too bad that I'm not in my best form today. Otherwise, we could have talked about this for a little longer.
Kaveh still looks dejected, and even the wine didn't help his mood. How can I help cheer him up? Maybe I should play it safe and just make a simple suggestion. We could do something else.
Sounds great to me. I don't even want to think about this project anymore. But what should we do? It's probably not a good idea to just drink until I pass out here.
Why did you decide to become an architect?
Huh? Where did that come from? I mean, it's not like it's some kind of secret. You probably already know some bits and pieces of my past. My mother is also an architect. I've always adored her drawings, and when I was young, I used to sit next to her and watch her bring all kinds of buildings to life on paper. You could say my interest in architecture just naturally grew with time.
Would she be able to understand how you're feeling right now?
Perhaps. In fact, I have also seen my mother argue with her clients, but she would always quickly find the motivation to return to her work. Unfortunately, I've barely had any contact with her since she remarried and moved abroad. Even if I wanted to ask her about her ability to stay positive after an argument, it would seem rude to barge into her life again over something as trivial as that. I did remember something else, though. When my mother left, she only carried some small personal luggage with her. She left most of the belongings in the house to me. At the time, she even told me that it would be great if I could learn a few lessons from her life experiences, so my life and career could go a little more smoothly. I hadn't quite come to grips with my emotions, and didn't really have it in me to go through any sentimental items, so I just packed anything with memories away in a box and haven't reopened it since.
Masked Munchkin, thanks so much for the biddies. And how traumatized is this dude that him contacting his mother is seen as like, oh, I don't want to bother her. Like, think about it for a second.
It's been a really long time. Now that so many years have passed, maybe I have finally developed the maturity I need to face those memories without losing my mind. Yeah, I should dig it out and take a look.
Tulip Plow, thank you so much for the 100 biddies. Do you think I can come with you?
Sorry, I've had too much to drink and wasn't thinking clearly. You're right. I should do these kinds of things with the support of a friend.
Honestly, his mom is the real bad guy in the story. I would disagree. I feel like grief kinda makes us act in ways that we don't really mean to. and as we'll see, like, you know, Kaveh's mom was a victim of stuff too.
Speaking of that, I can call you a friend now, right?
No.
Either way, thanks for reminding me that I can invite you to come along. Had I just gone back by myself, it would have looked like I'm deliberately trying to keep things from you. Ugh, thinking too hard about the words is giving me a headache, so I'll just give it to you straight. Thanks to your advice, I have decided to put my current projects on pause for now, and spend some time trying to rekindle the passion for my craft. If you want to stick around and see how this will turn out, you'll be sure to encounter some bits and pieces of my past. Do you think you'd find that too boring?
I love the fact that he's like, okay, let me just like repeat what I said clearly so you are on board. You're 100% on board with this idea. I don't think he's boring.
All right, then let's head back together. I mean, you already know where I live. Who knew that the day would come when I too would have some friends over? Let me see. I should have tidied up the place before I left the house this morning. Alhaitham shouldn't be home now either. He's usually in the records room at this time of the day. Anyway, there's no more time for drinks. I'll go take care of the bill.
Aha, I too have friends now. Sarasai Place, thank you so much for subscribing. Welcome. Ben, how have you been? I've been alright. I've been doing good. I recently made a discovery about my typecast. You know how Alejandro constantly talks about, or rather not constantly talks about, but how Alejandro is always playing white-haired dudes with lightning abilities? Because, like, I found out that I have something similar. I play swordsman. Or rather, dudes that just have swords. And it started with Saber. So I'm just like, did Saber curse me to always be sword dudes?
Alhaitham isn't in, so feel free to sit wherever. I'll bring out the box.
Because here's the thing so far. It started with Saber, who is the sword guy. And then Kaveh, who uses a claymore, a big sword. And then Andy, who uses a katana. And I've got two more things coming up that also heavily involve swords. So it's like, it's just swords all the way down. And I'm sure there's like other things that I'm missing that are probably also swords, but they're also different kinds of swords. Like, Saber obviously is like a standard sword, and then Kaveh's a claymore, and then Andy uses the katana. Does Travis kind of count? I mean, Travis has two small swords. They're daggers. Are they blonde? Because Saber and Kaveh are blonde. I mean, those are two out of the X that I've done so far. I just think they're neat. How many characters have I voiced? Hang on. Okay, according to IMDb, Which is incomplete, by the way. It doesn't have everything that I've done. I've recorded 98 characters. Or rather, I've got 98 credits on IMDb. Two away from 100. Does Neku ever use a sword? He does in the games, and it's not even like a sword. Tenza too, you're right. Tenza also uses a sword. And guy from Rurouni Kenshin, Aoshi, also is a swordsman. Although he uses Kenpo, so that doesn't really count all that much. And Olmar in Vinland Saga, he also uses a sword. I think I can't remember who else. Pedro in One Piece uses a sword. It's just swords. It's always swords.
Oh, nothing. I just didn't realize how much time had passed. The box is pretty dusty, which means it's already been a while since I've moved into this place. And many years since my mother moved to Fontaine.
Doesn't every anime boy use a sword? I mean, not all of them. It is seen as the archetypical, like, main character weapon. But I feel like more and more it's been getting more rare. Lazarus from Ancient Magus Bride? No, he's just some nerd. He's a magic boy. I feel like swords have been, like, falling out of style. When I found out that you voiced Tenza, I was flabbergasted. Tenza was one of my favorite roles. I never get to play someone who's just, like, good like that. You know, he's just a good boy. And I got to have a whole ass character journey in such a short amount of time. Would love to see you casted in Ace Attorney 7, though, if we ever got it. Oh, I would kill to be a character in Ace Attorney. Beth Anime, thank you so much for the raid. Like, hot damn. If I got to yell out objection and have that come out of, like, a video game console, that would make me very happy.
I'm happy for her. I hope she'll be able to find happiness there. She raised me all by herself after my father passed away. It definitely wasn't easy for her. Anyway, enough about that. Let's see what I packed into this box. What are all these things?
It's a picture. Look at that. It's a drawing. I really liked doing this route because most of what I had done for Kaveh was loud. And I like getting chances to go softer with his voice when he talks about more serious things or things that are closer to his heart. Like it lets him be a bit softer.
Oh, I remember now. This is a drawing I made in Port Ormos. Obviously, I wouldn't call it anything special now, but I was less than 5 years old when I made this drawing. That's more than 20 years ago. You could say it's pretty good for a child of that age.
But he still has moments where he tries to, to puff out his chest a bit. So, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty great.
Now that I've said that out loud, I suppose I do have some level of artistic talent, right?
Why do you say it? You don't sound as confident as you used to be.
Criticism and self-doubt have always been a part of the artistic process. Without criticism, there can be no improvement. It's normal for me to question my abilities from time to time.
Reading this, I remember that after I read this line, I was like, he is just like me for real. He is just like me for real. FR. I am exactly the same way. I still think a lot of the shit I do is garbage, but you know, I've been getting better. I've been getting better. I've been getting better. I've been trying to like the things I do a bit more. So, you know, I'm not so harsh on myself nowadays.
I admit that I may have spent a little too long questioning myself this time around, but as you know, the heart tends to dwell on whatever it pleases.
Biblo Curiosa, thank you so much for gifting 5 subs.
Anyway, never mind. The more I talk about it, the less confident I feel. Let's see what else we have in the box. Ah, my building blocks! It's been years since I've last seen these. When I was a kid, I used to stack them super high, and could even stabilize the tower to keep it from tumbling over. Oh, and this blueprint. I made it by copying my mother's sketch, and the aspect ratio was horrendous. It's still technically the first blueprint I made myself, though. I was super proud of myself when I finished it, and put it in the same pile as my mother's sketches, hoping she'd notice and compliment me for my good work. Unfortunately, my mother didn't realize that I had put it there. When she had a meeting with a client the next day, she handed my blueprint to him by mistake. The client was completely confused by this new blueprint, but apparently he felt too tongue-tied to question such a famous architect. It was only a few days later that he finally gathered up the courage to pay my mother a visit. He asked, "The door in this blueprint is even taller than the roof. Is this supposed to be part of the design?" My mother took me with her to personally apologize to the client several times. She didn't scold me about it in private, though. Instead, she went over all the steps required to draw a good blueprint, and was very patient throughout the whole process. I still remember it like it was yesterday.
Like, how can you hear this part of the story and, like, think that his mom is a bad guy? Like, she was genuinely a wonderful mother. And, like, did her best to raise this dude. And it's like, it's just like, sometimes grief just makes you, it can break you if you're not ready to handle it.
Let's see, is there anything else left in this box? Huh. What was this again?
Oh, is this the thing that they changed? We recorded, like, a notebook with a lock?
Ah, this is my mother's notebook. She used to write and sketch in it all the time.
I feel like I've hallucinated that they changed the word to diary or journal or something, but they kept it as notebook. I don't remember. Maybe I'm going insane.
When I was a child, I used to be super fascinated by this notebook, and always pestered my mother to let me read it. After asking her a few times, she told me that I could read it as long as I could guess the password.
They fixed it? Yeah, like, did the first version of this have journal or diary? I'm not getting Mandela affected, am I? It said diary? Yeah. Because as we were recording it, I'm like, it feels more like we're talking about her diary more than a notebook. But also, like, if she's using it to, like, draw sketches and stuff, it's not really, like, a diary. Like, notebook works in the context, I think.
Huh. Wonder why she didn't take this notebook with her. Did she leave it to me on purpose?
You could open it and take a look.
If only I could. I never managed to guess the password.
Even after all these years?
Hey, it's not a matter of time, it's a matter of inspiration. That's what we need to guess the password. Who knows? Maybe this time something will click in my head, and the answer will just present itself. Let me think. What could it be?
Your name?
I could tell what you were thinking. Don't worry, I tried all the easy guesses a long time ago. I've tried my name, my father's name, my mother's name, my grandparents' names on both sides, and all of our birthdays. I've tried every name and number remotely related to my family.
Did you try 80085?
I've even tried stuff like Love You Kaveh, Take Care, and Yours Truly. I've tried every cheesy phrase and well-wish in the book, but this lock has refused to budge. I wouldn't try that route again. I have a hunch that it won't be that simple. Also, if she really did use something like that, she'd never hear the end of it from the folks over at Haravatat if they ever found out.
Haravatat out here like, haha, your password is that you love your family. What a fucking loser. We could try asking some of her old acquaintances.
So we could find someone who was close to my mother and see if they might know anything? I see what you're saying, but who should we talk to for that? My mother was never really the one to be social. My father was the one with more friends, but all those connections were severed when he died. Let me think. Is there still someone at the academia who would know my mother? Ah, actually, there is someone. Professor Zahad Hadi.
Silver Firefly, thank you so much for gifting 5 subs. Appreciate it.
Huh. You've never really heard of her? She's a famous Gasharwar scholar and leading expert in formal garden design. My mother studied under her as a student many years ago. Professor Zahad Hadi published many works during her career, so I was able to learn a lot by studying her essays. If there's anyone who still remembers my mom, it'd be her.
Ben, you're basically Kaveh's new father. No, I'm actually the voice actor.
She's older now and is no longer teaching at the academia. But if I remember correctly, she spends most of her time around the Bimarstan area.
Bronyverse, thank you so much for raiding. Welcome, everybody.
Let's go take a look. We might run into her if we're lucky.
Kaveh, did you try password as the password? Did you try, fuck, what was... Hunter 12? I'm sure there's some of you in here that know that reference. Ben, did you build Ganyu? No! I didn't! I didn't build shit!
What am I supposed to do now? Forget it. I'll just head back.
Hey kids, look, it's Tainari.
Tainari? What are you doing here?
Oh, it's you. Good to finally see you again. I came into the city to buy some experiment reagents, hoping to bring them back with me to Gandharvaville. But as soon as I got here, I noticed someone banging on Cyrus's door. You've all heard of Cyrus, right? He's an ex-sage and Sino's adoptive father.
Gamers.
Polanovic, thank you so much for the biddy.
I was thinking about going over to ask what's happening. That granny over there may appear old and frail, but her vocal cords certainly sound loud and healthy as ever.
Granny?
Yeah, she's just over there. You can go check out the situation yourselves in a moment.
Also, Sino's dad mentioned.
Kaveh, were you at the tavern?
Bro, you smell like drunk. You smell like 100% pure agave tequila.
I had a quick drink or two. Can you still smell the alcohol?
Homie, if I light a match around you, you'll explode. You are slathered in alcohol.
Drinking in broad daylight. Really?
Slathered.
You want to pass out by the road and get run over by a sumpter beast like some mindless fungus, huh? And you, traveler? You didn't try to stop him?
No, I was enabling him. It was funny.
You look like a wreck, Kaveh. What happened? Are you feeling down again?
I do kind of like how they slightly touch on the fact that Kaveh is legitimately an alcoholic.
You know what? I'm hosting a meal at Pardis Dhyai tomorrow evening. Do you want to come?
But then they move on. They're just like, hey, Have you been drinking again? But then they're like, hey, you want to hang out?
Huh? Oh, I had no idea. Let me think for a moment. I'll come if I can find some time.
Also, the fact that one of his favorite foods is literally just alcohol. Like, that's bad. This man is destroying his life with alcohol.
Alright, then I'll plan on reserving 2 seats for you. I'll be heading back to Gandharvaville for now. I have a feeling that argument over there is going to continue for quite some time. It might be best if we don't get involved.
Sumeru gang planning an intervention for Kaveh. I genuinely think that if it wasn't for the events of this hangout, that probably would be a thing that would have to happen.
A granny who lives nearby. Let's go take a look.
I mean, it is kind of teaching the lesson that it's like, hey, if you have a good support network of friends that will help you, you don't have to rely on alcohol.
Ha! So, plan on keeping yourself locked in there, huh? Fine by me. If you're not going to come out, then I'm not going to leave.
When will we be getting a playable character with a nicotine addiction? I mean, the problem is that smoking looks very cool. So most people will be like, oh wow, this dude is always smoking a cigarette. Cool, I want to do that too. Instead, they have Kaveh, who they see him drinking a lot, and they're like, wow, Kaveh drinks a lot, and he's very handsome. I should drink a lot too. Wait a minute.
My tomato was growing so well, it had all the potential to become the best tomato this year, and you cut it straight from the vine.
I already told you I had nothing to do with it. Why would I take a tomato that's still weeks from ripening?
I love this man's voice so much.
You'd have to be awfully green as an investigator to think it was me. You see, the word green here could refer to both the color of the tomato and the fact that your skills could use some.
Enough nonsense. Just come out and face me, you coward.
You're out of your mind. If I've actually done something wrong, then get a mantra and pull me out by force, why don't ya?
Oh, why you?
Professor Zahad?
And who are you? Oh, Kaveh. Fancy seeing you here. How long has it been? Come on, get over here and let the professor take a good look at you. Not bad, not bad.
Yeah, the tone
You've
switch
grown
was
taller
immediate.
again.
Professor, what's going on here?
It's no big deal, really. A few of us old scholars got bored in our retirement and decided to put together a vegetable growing competition. At the end, whoever loses will have to go up on stage and do a performance for the winners. Which brings us to our current predicament. My tomato was sure to win until a certain someone decided they couldn't bear to lose.
Hey, don't try to defame me in front of the kids. If we're airing out each other's dirty laundry now, then why don't we talk about you sneaking into Janat's garden the other night?
Ahem! Lucky for you, seeing these youngsters come to pay their respects today has put me in a better mood. I'll let you off the hook. For now.
Could you continue the story, Cyrus? I am curious. Lawfully Lesbian, thank you so much for the Prime sub.
Come on, let's go. We'll take our conversation elsewhere. He doesn't need to be a part of it.
Yes, of course.
The kids. That's a grown-ass man.
Is Faranak still doing well?
Yes, as far as I know. She left for Fontaine some time ago and started a new life for herself. She's still doing work related to architecture, though.
Ah, yes. I did hear about that. Did that upset you at all?
Dude, no, I only became an alcoholic.
No, not at all. She's already sacrificed a lot raising me as a single mother.
Why would it upset me? I'm fine.
That's good to hear. Your mother did struggle quite a bit those few years. It's probably a good thing that she found a new place to call home. Sometimes I wonder if things were harder for her because she was so beautiful. People were always drawn to her beauty first, only to realize she had a sensitive and vulnerable heart underneath. She was still quite young when she first joined my class as a student. Beautiful and radiant with her golden hair, yet quiet and single-minded. She seemed like a lass from some aristocratic house who was seeing the outside world for the first time. She had to make a lot of drastic changes in her life to raise you on her own. Even during her time in the academia, she was a thorough perfectionist. If she was unsatisfied with something she had made, she'd insist on redoing it, even if I was perfectly happy with it. She had many admirers, and they'd always fill up the first few rows of seats, hoping they could get closer to her sitting in the first row. If it were any of my other classes, you'd have found nobody sitting in the front. But every time I saw her, she was always in that same rigid pose. She'd have one hand on her forehead with the other clutching her pencil. Her eyebrows would be knitted in a frown as she concentrated on the blueprint in front of her.
I'm sure she had many difficult moments in her life. How did she cope with the stress?
I'm not too sure. She never talked about such things with me. She rarely opened up to other people, you know. I do remember one time, though, when she got into a heated argument with a friend. She said something I found very memorable.
I don't think Kaveh's mom was an alcoholic too. Unless they expressly say that she was.
She said, "True art cannot be understood, but as an artist, I wish some people could understand its meaning and value. If you ask me, that's probably the greatest source of pain for geniuses of their craft. It's extremely hard for them to find someone who can truly understand their ideas."
It's that idea of, like, if you're a creative and you're surrounded by non-creatives, then it's a fucking nightmare sometimes. Because you want to tell them how beautiful something is, but they're just like, I don't know, it's just a building, I don't understand. And also, that's kind of happening in today's world with the lack of media literacy that's been very prevalent in Gen Zers and Gen Alphas. The fact that a lot of media nowadays is not being understood at all because of media literacy not being taught at schools anymore. Like, we all would make fun of people for taking humanities and social studies, but, like, we kind of need those things. Because now we have a bunch of fucking idiots out there that don't really understand anything that they're seeing.
So that's how it is. I wonder if the password could be...
I mean, it doesn't even have anything to do with AI art. Like, obviously, the lack of media literacy has helped the proliferation of AI art, and a lot more people are being bamboozled by AI art because they don't have media literacy. But, like, just being able to, like, read a story or, like, watch a movie and be able to understand it and follow the story and, like, not ask questions like, wait, why is that guy doing that? What does it mean? Could you explain it to me? And, like, not just let the movies explain it for you. Like, I remember there was a tweet of somebody, like, being at a movie theater and, like, it was somebody else and their partner, and their partner was like, wait, why did that guy say that? And the other person was like, have you ever watched a movie before? Like, just watch it. They will tell you what it is. Yeah, CinemaSins has done irreparable damage to humanity. Where shit like foreshadowing... Also, hey, Juzo. Can we get a shout out for Juzo? Shit like foreshadowing is bad, apparently. And having things open to interpretation is also bad. And having stylistic choices is bad. God, CinemaSins is fucking garbage. I hate it so much. I've watched, like, a documentary on CinemaSins, and, like, those dudes are the worst humans like available. They're like failed comedians that latched onto this idea that they should just make fun of movies for no reason, and they're like, oh, well, we're trying to be impartial, but they're not. It's all bad faith. It's literally all bad faith. And I'm doing wonderful, thank you for asking, Juzo. We're just playing some Gensh. Not an actual documentary, it's like a YouTube documentary. I mean, yeah, exactly, Blue Sails. Media literacy, it's just literacy as a whole. Like, literacy isn't limited to just, you know how to read. It's understanding subtext. It's understanding context. It's understanding what you're reading, and not just reading it. That's why scams are so much more common nowadays, because so many people just don't know how the fuck to read subtext. And figure out, hey, wait a minute, this thing that I'm reading, it might not be, like, saying what I think it's saying.
I tried both just now. Seems those aren't it either.
What are you trying to do?
My mother left her notebook to me, but it has a password, and I haven't figured out what it is yet. I'm trying to learn more about her so I'd have a better chance at cracking the code. Thank you for all that you told us.
Lack of media literacy is why there are so many garbage popcorn films these days? Not really. I mean, the thing about garbage popcorn films is that that's just a product of capitalism as a whole. With, you know, these gigantic blockbuster movies like the Avengers movies making billions and billions of dollars, the people in charge of studios, whose entire job is to get money, they see that and they're like, hey, we need to do that too. Because that made $1 billion, and we want billions and billions of dollars, so we need to do that too. And the only way that we can do that is if we spend billions and billions of dollars to make those kinds of movies as well. It's literally just a nightmare version of follow the leader. And because it's like they spend so much money on these billion-dollar ideas that they want to make $1 billion, it means that smaller ideas just get discarded and canceled for tax refunds.
It's the least I can do. Talking to youngsters like yourself makes me feel younger too. Honestly, looking at you now, I can see how much you resemble her. It's almost as if she's standing right in front of me again.
But like, I remember Brad Pitt did a like an interview where he talked about how literally like the rise of streaming platforms and the death of like DVDs and Blu-rays is another contributor as to why the current film landscape is as it is. Because a lot of films that would do badly at theaters would recoup their losses in DVD sales and VHS sales. But now, since those don't really exist anymore, and it's all streaming platforms that don't pay as well as they should be paying, like, they don't have that kind of safety net anymore. And now, like, they have to get it right with the initial film screening. And that means that, like, smaller projects that would subsist on DVD sales just don't happen anymore. Like, it's like a mix of just capitalism, but also the way that our technology has been evolving, and just the way that media is delivered to households being changed. It's shitty. The whole thing is shitty. But it's also just like, this is kind of the march of technology ruining a lot of things.
Your personalities are quite alike, too. You're both stubborn and both a little awkward. Of course, I'm sure the similarities are mostly superficial. But so long as you continue to harbor those traits, you'll find a lot of difficulties in your work.
Yeah, I miss having DVDs too.
I've taught a lot of students over my career, and in my experience, very few genius architects of Ksharawar ever found happiness for themselves. They would know exactly what they want to express and fight for it tooth and nail, which inevitably led to arguments with their clients.
Like, I've already touched about it a little bit when I streamed a bit of Unicorn Overlord, but like the localization nonsense that's going on Twitter, that's a product of a lack of media literacy. Because a lot of people are just being like, they changed it, so it's bad. But it's like, none of these people are asking why they changed it. And once they figure that out, like, they changed it because the original intent was this, and the original subtext was this, and we're keeping that same subtext in the translation. But they're just like, no, change is bad. It has to be like the original, or else it's not an accurate translation. It's so stupid. And it's literally born out of people that don't know how to read subtext. And don't know how to engage with their media at anything other than a surface level.
Some clients would choose to respect the architect's vision, or just let the argument go because of the architect's reputation. But those are the rare ones. When Faranak first graduated, she was getting into arguments with her clients nearly every single day. I think it only got a little better when she met your father.
Yeah, translation is a form of art itself. It is something that requires a lot of nuance and literacy.
I see. But wasn't my father from Ratawaist? Could he understand the designs my mother made?
Why did they not update this line in the subtitles? Why is this one different? They missed a spot. I think translators are some of the most badass people alive because they are literally going against what God tried to do with the Tower of Babel. God was like, y'all are gonna talk different languages so you can't communicate with each other. And translators are like, fuck you. We'll do it anyway.
No, I think they were probably beyond him, too. But despite that, he still stayed next to her, listening to her joys and sharing in her sorrows. Faranak had many admirers, but she ended up choosing your father. His support probably played a part in that decision.
So instead of understanding, perhaps all we need is just companionship.
Maybe that's what she was trying to tell you.
Huh. It worked.
Oh, was that the right password?
Yes!
Then you should be on your way, child. Find a quiet place and see what she wanted to say to you. Being the awkward person that she is, I suppose there were many things that Faranek could never say out loud. Instead, she probably left them in her diary, hoping that they would make their way to you one day.
Oh, Torike, like, obviously some exceptions apply, the same way that they apply to everything. Like, there are charities that are kind of bad, and they're not really charities, but rather like they're scams, posing as charities. Does that mean that all of the concept of charities is bad? No. It means that sometimes there's bad ones, but that doesn't mean that the rest of them are also bad. In the same way that maybe a few bad localizations doesn't mean that all of localization is bad and everything should be machine copied. Also diary, Lamau.
If you're ever in a mood to chat again, just come and find me here. You're always welcome to discuss architecture topics with me as well.
Thank you so much, Professor.
There's no need to be so formal. I'll let you kids go. It's time for me to take another stroll around the vegetable garden.
I wonder what my mother could have written about.
Didn't she say...
They all say Zahad's class is the toughest, but I think it's actually not too bad. On the other hand, though, structural mechanics is definitely a pain, no matter how you try to approach it. I doubled down and managed to get through it in the end.
She's like, go somewhere quiet to read this. And we're just like, what if we just read it in the middle of the street? And this is my first time hearing Faranak's voice, and it's cool. I've actually met her actor, IRL. She's super nice.
I met someone special. At first, I didn't think much of him. But now, I feel very happy whenever I get to spend time with him.
Anaides did not, this was Kendall Bird. Kendell? And I think Bird with a Y.
We decided to name our son Kaveh. I don't think a younger me would have ever imagined forming such an intimate bond with another person. Back then, I lived only in the shadow of myself, as well as that of the dream in my heart. The bad news came. And even though it's been several days now, I still can't bring myself to come to terms with what happened. My eyes are so swollen it's hard to see. What if they're all lying to me? And this is just a long, cruel dream.
Music isn't really helping the mood here.
But I have to face reality. I still have someone to take care of. No matter what happens, I'll do my best to raise my son on my own.
And this makes Farnak, like, moving to Fontaine all the more tragic, because, like, she personally did want to keep going, but she couldn't. She just wasn't strong enough.
Huh? Is this a drawing? Seems like it was done by my mother.
Oh, it's the thing again. Where's the fuck? I misplaced where the pointing meme is. Where is it? God dang it! I know I left it here somewhere. God dang it! Where? Oh, I must have deleted it like a fool. Yeah, you guys can keep doing this.
Gamers.
Look! Look!
Hey, what's up?
How do I rename this one? Alright.
This blonde man was probably my father, but who are the other people in the picture? Huh? Why do a few of them look somewhat familiar? From the dates in the notebook, she probably drew this more than 30 years ago. I hadn't even been born yet. Maybe we were thinking too much. Oh, there are a few lines written in the diary about this as well.
The one who invited us to the gathering is a talkative woman. Including us, 3 couples showed up. There was also a person who came alone. The talkative woman introduced everyone to each other. She spoke really quickly, so I couldn't quite catch everything she said. But I also didn't feel like asking her to repeat herself.
The diary.
My husband seems to be friends with the man with long ears. I couldn't really join their conversation, so I've resigned myself to sitting in a corner and drawing in my notebook.
Notebook.
I don't think I'd be able to become friends with any of these people, especially that stiff-looking couple. That man is certainly very handsome, but he would constantly alternate between disjointed and serious ways of talking. His wife is a bit more bearable. We were not acquainted with each other to begin with, and I doubt we'll see each other again after this gathering. The ambiance of this gathering is surprisingly pleasant, however. Talking to people can allow us to find some peace after a long day. Maybe my son will also partake in these gatherings in the future. I hope he'll be able to make many friends.
Who would have thought my mother used to attend that kind of thing? It seems she was only good at talking about her own work, and found it difficult to join into other conversations. As a result, she often kept to herself and would be off to the side, drawing. There's more written on the back. Oh, it seems like it was written to me.
Kaveh. I was both overjoyed and distressed when I learned of your decision to continue your studies in Kasharawar. You are very talented, and I am confident that you will become an architect of much acclaim. However, the more talented you are as an artist, the more misery and anguish you may encounter. No one will be able to help you during your journey as an artist. But outside of your life as a creator, you can learn to form connections with other people and enjoy many other things in life. It's the only way to alleviate your suffering.
That or get drunk. Jay Cinnamon Tea, thank you so much for gifting a sub. And I'm Gracie, thank you so much for the Prime sub.
Whenever you feel down, seek out a friend to sit and have a chat. You can accumulate joy and fulfillment by spending time with them. The positive feelings you gain will get you through the long and difficult years. Never forget that companionship is the most important thing of all.
So that's the answer she prepared for me. She really thought long and hard about me and my future. Well, now that I've read her words, do you think I should accept Tainari's invite and attend that dinner at Pardis Dhyai?
Wait, you were actually considering not going?
The thought definitely crossed my mind. Although it'd be nice to get together with friends and chat the night away, I don't want to bring down other people's moods because I'm sad.
He just like me, FR.
Besides, don't most people hate the feeling of seeing their friends troubled and being unable to help? And what's worse, nearly all of my problems can't be easily resolved with some encouraging words or gesture. And don't forget, I'm also older than all of them. As their senior, I should appear to be a bit more responsible.
It's normal for friends to take care of each other.
You're not wrong, but I keep feeling like I haven't really helped them much in return.
It's always fun to have you around, Kaveh.
Wait, do you mean it? You're not making fun of me, are you? I've gotten so used to sarcasm that I can't tell what's genuinely a compliment anymore. Wait, by fun, did you mean... You know what? I'm not going to overthink it. I'll see you tomorrow at Pardis Dhyai.
He made the choice to be with his friends. Oh! 1600, okay. Use Nahida, please. Okay, yeah. Let me go into my character menu and bring her out.
It's good.
Yeah, let me just go
out and
to
stretch your
party
legs
setup.
once in a while.
We'll replace this dude. And yeah, let me get Nahida. There we go.
Hurry up! Mora waits for no one.
There you go. There's Nahida.
Made to stay cooped up inside all the time.
I'm gonna do that every time anybody tells me to switch to Nahida. Kids gotta learn!
Alhaitham also got my invite, right? Will he be coming to join us?
I'll hate them.
That guy, he's never been a fan of social gatherings. I wouldn't get my hopes up if I were you.
Are you sure? All right then. I guess we won't wait for him.
Yeah, let's go. I mean, maybe we should give him a little more time. We can keep chatting for a while longer.
Oh, sure.
You still haven't told me, what's the occasion for getting us together here at Pardis Dhyai?
We're celebrating the end of the first phase of Kaveh's studies. I wanted to thank you all for the help you've given her along the way.
Then where's Kaveh?
She said she wanted to show everyone a bit of what she's learned, so she's still doing some last-minute prep at home. She'll be here shortly.
Yeah, I love the fact that Kaveh's first instinct is like, great, awesome, let's just do it. But then the little voice inside his head is like, no, you shouldn't be mean. You shouldn't be mean.
Anyway, let's get started. To tell you the truth, I'm actually not so confident that the second phase will go as well as the first.
Ben, when you voice Kaveh, do you remember every line you did, or do you easily forget them? Imagine you work at retail. Do you remember every single customer you've had to deal with? Or every single item that you've had to check out? That's what that kind of question is equivalent to. I'll remember the good ones. I'll remember the fun lines that I had fun with, but you have to remember that this is also like my job, and I have to do this a lot for many characters, for many clients. So I can't really remember everything. There are moments that I definitely do remember. Like, there are lines and scenes that I'm like, man, this was great. But yeah, a lot of it just kind of fades into the background because I don't have enough RAM to accommodate all the dialogue. If I had photographic memory, probably, but...
The curriculum will become a lot more involved, and I'm worried that she won't be able to get through all of it. I was hoping we could brainstorm about it together before she gets here.
But you voice the same line over and over again. Are you insulting the writing of the game for being repetitive? Is that what you're saying?
I knew this wouldn't be just a simple free dinner. Is that why you also invited Al-Haytham?
Yes, I thought it would be good if we could all put our heads together about this. Anyway, let's take a quick trip down memory lane. What did you guys do when you ran into a problem that you didn't know how to solve? Or got assigned a project that you knew you weren't going to finish on time?
They mean when you record, you don't just do one take. How many takes do you guys think I do per line? I've already mentioned it before on a previous stream, but I'm curious to know what you guys think. It's 2 takes. I do 2 of each. And then they pick their favorite from the 2. If I need more direction, they will ask me for another one. But I usually just do 2. Because there's only so many ways you can do a line. Like I'm going to the store. I'm going to the store. I'm going to the store. Like, you know, if there needs to be an emphasis placed on a specific word, the director will just tell me. And for the higher energy, like, screams or large combat lines, we usually just do 1 take. Because, like, I know how to scream correctly, so it's probably going to be fine.
Never happened to me.
I'd just pull another all-nighter.
You two are hopeless. Does anyone have a more useful answer to the question?
Perhaps you could just adjust the pace of the curriculum.
Ooh, that's a good point. Confidence is the most important thing. Once you lose your sense of confidence, it'll become all but impossible to find the motivation to study.
This could be a potential direction. I have already redesigned the literacy curriculum, and I was originally hoping to ask Alhaitham for his opinion. But
does the script have indication? The script usually tells me what everybody else is saying, and will usually... It depends on the script. Some of them don't have that information, some of them do. Some of them say, hey, in this line you're scared, or hey, in this line you're being informative. And, like, but I try to rely on the director if there's no information like that. But a lot of the time it's like, oh, this is... And, like, this is a game in a series that I've already played it. Like, for Live Alive, like, I kind of know how RPGs sound like, so I just kind of relied on my instincts. And for Genshin, like, I know how this game sounds, so, like, I will, you know, adjust my performance so that it sounds cohesive with the rest of the game.
It's very simple. Instead of focusing on the amount of material you would like to teach, focus on the amount the student would be able to remember.
Oh! Is there a dream series you'd want to voice for? I kind of already met that with Unicorn Overlord. Like, I wanted to be a part of a Vanillaware game so badly, and then it happened. There are a couple of other ones, but I'll let you know. I do really want to be in a Tales game. But then again, I just want to be in an RPG as like a playable main character, you know? I just want to be able to yell out attack names and have like an arc. I was in Final Fantasy as Wheelie Guy, which was great, which was awesome. I got to say Mako Energy. Like, being able to say Mako is, like, and Costa del Sol, I used, like the fact that I got to say, like, names and terms from a game that I really, really love is just so cool. But also Demon Fang. Sword Rain Alpha! Tiger Blade! How far am I in Rebirth? I've been slacking on Rebirth because I've had to play Reload. Like, I just got Aegis into my party in Reload. So I'm going through that. But then I need to go back to Rebirth. Can we get you an FF14? God, that'd be amazing. Dawn Trail, like, I'm still so excited for Dawn Trail. How am I liking Reload so far? It's really good. As a fan of the original game, I think it's a fantastic remake. It's hitting all the same notes. I will say the only issue I have with it is that some of the songs don't land as strongly as the original. I'm a huge fan of the original Mass Destruction, but that's because the female vocalist for the new game, I feel like her voice isn't as well suited for Mass Destruction. Like, she's super good in all the other songs. Mass Destruction needed a certain vibe, and she just isn't hitting it.
Wow, you actually showed up. I could probably count the number of times you've actually come to gatherings like this on just one hand.
Wow.
It's still more than the number of times you've managed to get a proposal approved on the first try.
As long as you're still aware. So, what made the difference this time? Are you looking to drink your sorrows away with some friends?
You see, chat, this is what we call projection.
That's your purpose for being here, not mine. Don't project your ways of thinking onto me.
I can't fucking believe that he immediately followed up with... This is why I think Alhaitham is the best character in Genshin.
So you're saying the only reason you came is to help Tainari with his brainstorming?
Precisely. Kale will have a long road in front of her.
Hey, just to get one thing clear. Even if Kale manages to make her way to the academia, we cannot let her enroll in her avatat. Kasharawar is obviously the best choice for her. She's been a trainee forest ranger for so long, she'll definitely be good with her hands.
I legitimately did not know that Alhaitham was gonna say that. I completely forgot that was his response.
What are you saying? Spontamad is the better choice. It's where I graduated from, after all.
Then what about Amorta? That's the Darshan her master actually graduated from.
There are only 2 other Darshans left. We might as well select all of them on her enrollment application.
I'm trying to have a serious discussion here. Traveler, you aren't associated with any of the 6 Darshans. In your opinion, which Darshan would be the best choice for Kale?
I think she should get through the second phase of her studies first.
Well said.
Agreed. And my goal in inviting you here was to gather some thoughts on the execution of
Let
this second phase.
Let Kale do her first semester of school before she picks her major. It's so easy. Like these four dumb idiots and their child. Like the choice is so obvious, guys.
Phase 2 far exceeds Phase 1 in both curriculum complexity and the speed of instruction. I hope Kale has prepared herself for what is coming.
Kale and her 4 idiot dads, who are also geniuses.
Hey, what are you thinking now? Please don't tell me you're planning on lending her those abstruse books from your home library.
Actually, I was thinking about lending her a professions guide.
I'll make sure to write, "Don't become an architect" on the front page of that.
This line right here was probably one of my favorites. And it's also, I signed a lot of prints and a lot of cons with "Don't become an architect." Just because I really like this line. It's funny. Don't you love your job, Kaveh?
You're right. I can't deny that.
Is there another phase after Phase 2? What's the ultimate goal of all of this? Are we trying to prepare her for a job in the academia?
Yeah, the fact that all of them are book smart and not street smart, is great. These 4 dudes are, some of the smartest people in all of Teyvat, but they probably couldn't, go to, a coffee place and get their orders right. They would all leave with 4 of the wrong coffee. Because they're all just so stupid when it comes to normal things.
We don't need to think that far ahead. Hold that thought, though. I think my vegetables are done.
I'm telling you, that client had no idea what he was talking about. No matter what I did, he had something bad to say about it.
Kaveh sure gets drunk fast. I did love doing this part too. This was a lot of fun.
Have you considered finding another client?
They're all the same. I haven't had a good night's sleep for months now. Who do they think they are, ordering me to alter my design over and over again just because they have some Mora?
It's too late now to change careers. You might as well try to find some joy in the pain.
I love the fact that since Alhaitham is standing in this specific spot, it looks like he's in a completely different location. Everybody else is in the gazebo and Alhaitham's just out in the forest. He's a remote correspondent. He's just connecting through Zoom.
Besides, you'll be getting up in the middle of the night to make edits to your own design even when the client doesn't request it.
No. That's not true.
Cheer up, Kaveh. I'll tell you a new joke.
We'll save that for the end, Sino. You can keep it to yourself until then.
I love these guys so much. Best characters. Best friendship. Best group in Genshin. 10 out of 10, no bias.
Whatever. I'm not going to use my brain anymore. Let's drink tonight to our heart's content.
Dun 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 dun. Leisurely gathering. The positive feelings you gain will get you through the long and difficult years. I like how Kaveh is right there.
When will I hear back about my application?
Like, this wasn't part of the event, but she's right there in the photo. I love how I can use this image to, like, point things out on stream now. Look at this. Now look at this. Now look at the Traveler. Now look back at this.
The ability to appreciate
what is it that he's
beauty
drinking?
is an important virtue.
Okay, so in the morphogenetic field time map, that's one route. Hangout memories. Oh. You got 4 more. Yeah, I know I have 4 more routes. I saw this part where it says endings 1 out of 5. Yeah, let's do another one. Okay, so I have to start with that part. Ben, do you voice Kaveh from Genshin? No! I don't. Stop asking. No! I voice Grumbles the Dwarf in Genshin, who has one line, and it's, "Hello, I'm Grumbles the Dwarf." They didn't patch him in, because he was too important of a character to have in the story.
Taking this commission was truly the worst decision ever. Hmm?
Oh, there's just a skip button. Why can't the rest of the game have that? Why do the Hangouts have better, like, gameplay systems than the main story? Yeah, I know that the Hangouts are repeatable, but it's like, sometimes there's stuff in the main story that I just don't really want to hear. Especially if they have you do, like, non sequitur side quests and shit. Art is something that resonates with the masses.
Yes, art shouldn't be self-indulgent entertainment saved for the elite.
Fuck the elite.
Let's say that I built a house for someone. If they don't like how it looks, then no matter how brilliant it may appear to me, they won't be happy with it. The problem is that it can be very difficult to get validated by others. I could compromise my personal standards to accommodate my clients, but often that just means creating a final product that I would struggle to look at.
Kaveh still looks dejected, and even the wine didn't help his mood. How can I cheer him up? Play it safe and make a simple suggestion. I'll help you convince the clients to come to your side.
Hmm? Thanks for offering, but you've seen how he is. He's not going to listen to anything I say. He understands nothing about my design, and all the suggestions he made were as if he just wanted to mock me.
I don't think he was intentionally trying to be difficult.
Okay, it is possible that I was just jaded by my frustration. Well, given I'm already on my 6th draft, I can probably push myself to make a 7th. Let's go have another talk with him. I know where we'd be able to find the guy.
By the way, if you want, you can skip to major story branches instead of playing the hangout from beginning over and over. If you look at the VOD for this stream after it's done, you will notice that I did that. But thank you for the suggestion. I appreciate it.
There's no time to waste. The wine can wait until another time. I'll go take care of the bill.
Also, Jay Cinnamon Tea, thank you so much for getting a sub. I forgot to mention that because, once again, the overflow of ooks kind of broke my sub tracker. Freaking by disaster. Thank you so much for the 9 months. How you guys doing, by the way, chat? How you guys feeling? Are you happy? Are you content? Amateur, thank you so much for the 100 biddies. Ben, can I draw you as Kaveh for some fan art? You can literally do whatever you want. I cannot legally stop you from doing most things in life.
Ad Astra. Thank you for
Ben, how are you feeling? I'm feeling good. I'm a little tired. I had my last day of, like, personal training workout days yesterday. Like, I bought a specific number of them, and yesterday was my last day. So I've just been exhausted because my trainer really let things go with a bang. And I'm gonna start going to the gym by myself and doing my own routine. But other than that, I'm good. I'm like starting to get more free time, so I'm gonna be streaming more. But, yeah, it's been good.
Kaveh, what are you doing here?
Ben, can you help me with my physics homework? No!
I've changed my mind. I was overreacting earlier. Can we try discussing the project some more?
My apologies as well. Now that I think about it, some of my requests were indeed a bit unreasonable.
Any game plans aside from Genshin? Well, you'll be happy to know that, or unhappy, I don't know, that, after we finish the hangout stuff, we're gonna play Fallout New Vegas. That was so loud. I tried to minimize it by leaning as back as I could, but I have a very powerful voice. So, unfortunately, yeah, I'm sorry.
If I choose you to create the design for my project, I should have a bit more faith in your vision.
Ben, can you say no for me?
Yes.
Did I tell you guys about how they used my scream in one of the Toonami promos? They legitimately did. Hang on, I'm gonna go pull that up. I don't think I can play the whole thing because it's like a licensed thing. I'm just gonna link it in chat once I find it. Let's see here. Did they have your permission at least? No, when... The thing about contracts for voiceover is that most of them have clauses that it's like, hey, we can use your VA for whatever we want. Like, for promo and stuff like that. Well, like, before it used to be okay for them to say that, because it's like, what the fuck else could you use VA for? But now, AIs are a thing, and now everything's terrible, but... no, it's... just give me 1 second, chat. Give me 1 second. It wasn't a no, it was just me screaming. There, it's spammed in the link. You can hear me screaming at around the 32-second mark. Or 34-second mark, excuse me. Why so many links? Because if there's too many of you talking, it gets buried, so I just spam it so everyone can see it. But yeah, it's literally me as Surma in Attack on Titan, just screaming my ass off because I'm about to be eaten. And when I was recording that scream, I blew out the mic on the first take and on the second take after they turned down the gain. And they're like, Ben, you are so fucking loud when you're really screaming. And I'm like, thank you. I pride myself on being loud as hell. So they had to like turn on the pad and lower the gain even more. And like I had to hold myself back a little bit and it still sounded like that.
Thank you for understanding. Mutual trust is the basis for good communication. Now that we've got that out of the way, I think we can have a more productive conversation.
That was a good scream. Like, hey, Mike was like, yeah, you're about to be eaten by a Titan. This is the most terrifying thing in your life. So, I gave it my go.
To be perfectly honest, your commission request has been the most peculiar one I've ever received. Even now, I still know nothing about the building's intended purpose. All I know is that you want to build something in the desert for public use. I am aware that overly specific requests will restrain the architect's artistic freedom. However, knowing nothing about the intended purpose of the building also means I have no idea if I'm on the right track.
But yeah, like that Attack on Titan promo is like my claim to fame with Attack on Titan. I was used in a promo. That was it. Other than that, nobody cares about Surma. Or Peek's dad, who I also voiced. And literally all I did was one cough and then like 2 lines.
I've produced several draft proposals for you to choose from, and you've rejected every single one. If we don't get on the same page, it could be a decade before we can finally break ground on this project.
But it's fun that I'm Peek's dad because his name is Mr. Finger.
Yes, I've given this some thought already. I think we can go with the general direction of the latest proposal that you just showed me.
Which ties into that Breaking Bad... Yeah, exactly. Some of you guys beat me to it. It's the kid named Finger thing.
It's just...
Just what?
Putting the building design aside, can we get some less expensive materials for the floor tiles? Yeah, I know someone in the business, and the red bricks he sells can go for pretty cheap.
Walter, you gotta kill the Titans, Walter. You gotta free humanity from its cage, Walter. I am the one who is the Titan. Walter, you killed your friends, Walter. You killed everybody, Walter. I'm Gracie, thank you so much for the 5 subs. I haven't watched Breaking Bad. This is me going off pure meme knowledge of Breaking Bad.
The timber here as well. We should be able to find some substitutes.
Please give me a moment. My head's starting to hurt again. Just please hold on for a second.
Yeah, I know I need to watch it. So many people have told me to watch it.
So, let me get this straight. You want to reduce the cost of the project, right? But if we implement your suggestions, then I'm afraid we have to scrap the entire design.
Bird Nerd, I know exactly what you're talking about. Those are great. I like those remixes a lot. But I've watched the one where Walter White is playing Nintendogs on a plane, and the kid named Finger is like, Walter, you need to turn off your DS, Walter. You're jamming navigation systems, Walter. Ha ha, I put a little hat on my dog. You killed us all, Walter.
Architectural design cannot be neatly split into discrete parts. Any change to one part of the design will affect the quality of the whole thing. I decided to utilize high-end timber for this section because the weight-bearing structure requires the supporting materials to be durable and strong. Same with the tiles. Switch them out and the entire mural will have to be redesigned. More importantly, if we make such a change, both its practical functionality and aesthetic value will take a great hit.
This man's just paying attention to the feng shui of the whole building.
If all you need is a building with a roof that can keep people dry in the rain, you shouldn't have commissioned me. Many architects would be able to build you one of those while charging far less in commission fees.
Actually, please tell me, are you absolutely sure that there's no room for any changes in this draft of the design?
Was that a good bit, by the way, chat? Me quoting a Breaking Bad meme? I feel like I need to have more bits in the on the stream.
I think the most important thing for me is to understand what you would actually like to get. If you could tell me more about your vision, I might be able to work with the design some more. You are the client, after all. You should have the final say on how the project turns out.
It's gonna be, after every bit, I'm gonna turn to you guys and be like, hey guys, Ben Balmaceda here. We've had a lot of laughs on the show tonight. If you could please vote with your phone whether or not that was a good bit, do it now. At 1-800-NOT-A-GOOD-BIT.
I want to build something unique. Something quiet and warm inside. A refuge that can block out the world outside.
Hi, it's Ben here to explain the joke for you. Hey guys, I just did a reference to Breaking Bad. It's funny because Breaking Bad is a show that is very popular.
I want all who enter this building to be able to temporarily forget everything that's going on outside of the building and just focus on their task at hand.
That's a bit more information than last time, but it's still extremely vague. To put it another way, every rich person who wants to build a mansion for themselves would request something like this. We've gone through many proposals, and this draft is already the cheapest one. Cutting costs by substituting building materials will not only detract from the overall effect of the building, it also won't save you much more in the grand scheme of things.
I mean, the so you hate bit is more that's your guys' bit. It's not my bit. I need funny things to do on stream. So people will make clips of it and share it on twitter.com, thus ensuring that I get more viewers and continue my upward rise through the ranks of Twitch streamers. Which is all part of my plan to become the greatest streamer of all time, so I can tell people to play Shin Megami Tensei games.
Thank you for giving it so much thought. Please, give me some more time to mull over the budget. I'll get back to you once I've figured out a solution.
Ben, which Shin Megami Tensei is good for someone who has only played Persona? You could probably get started with, like, it depends on what consoles you have. If you have a PC, you can play Nocturne. If you have a Switch, you can play Nocturne or SMT5. Those are both pretty good for starters. If you have a 3DS, please play SMT4. That one's probably the best.
I still have a few business meetings that I must attend, so I'm afraid I'll have to leave for now. You can just leave the proposal as is. I'll get in touch once I've given it some more thought.
That means you have to fight Sayu for top dog. Then we will fight. Amateur, thank you so much for the biddies. I'll give you the art that I have made when you see me at a con. Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you. And also, goodbye, Todd Habercorn.
I also have a similar feeling.
Should we follow him and see if anything unusual comes up?
Is that really okay? I mean, what he does now is none of our
business. Do you know
business.
who Badawi's VA is? It's Todd Habercorn. He's in everything.
He does seem really suspicious, though. He dresses like a rich person, but when you talk to him, He hardly sounds the part.
He sounds super frugal, too.
That's actually pretty common. Not all rich people are spendthrifts. Many are just, as if not more, stingy than him.
So true. So true, Umfi. Give this man a true.
The more mora some people have, the more they love interfering with people's lives. Like constantly reminding you to pay back your debts, or hinting every other day that it's time for you to pay rent.
I wonder who he's talking about here. Yeah, that's definitely Todd. Like, I can pinpoint his voice from ages away. He's got like a very distinct kind of texture to it.
Actually, now that I think about it, I'm not even sure this person really wants to work on this project with me. Putting his vague requests aside, he's still finding excuses to procrastinate even when we've decided on a plan. Who knows how long construction will take if he keeps delaying things like this? We should find him again and get some clearer answers. The sooner we can break ground on this, the better.
Follow the client. Board the platforms.
Huh?
Break the targets.
Where did he go? I could have sworn he went this way. Let's... Oh, hey, look! Isn't that Badawi? It sure looks like him, but he's dressed completely different now. What is he up to?
He's over there. He's right over there. There he is. Right there.
Didn't I tell you before? I'm not looking for more workers. Plus, aren't you a bit old for physical labor? If something happens to you, I won't be able to pay for it.
Oh, you won't have to worry about that. I grew up as an eremite mercenary and worked in the desert my entire life. My body's still in great shape. I don't have many talents, but I still have my muscle. If you need someone to unload goods or drive away sumpter beasts, I'm your man.
He's got that, like, texture in his voice. Where he sounds super old, but, like, he's not super old.
You used to be an eremite mercenary?
I know there are a lot of bad apples in our ranks, but most are just trying to make a living. We're not that greedy by nature, and we'll do our best when given a job.
I know very little about SMT, so apologies for the newbie question. Do I get to use/play as Jack Frost? Think of SMT like Pokemon, but instead of cute little creatures, you get demons in your party. So in Pokemon, you would have a Pikachu or a Bulbasaur. And in SMT, you get Satan or fucking Okuninushi. And Jack Frost is a demon. He's very much like SMT's version of Pikachu. But instead of being a funny little electric rat, he's a sociopath that's really cute.
Let me think. I'm sorry, but I still can't take you in. I don't have any open positions right now, and don't have the Mora for anything more. How about this? Why don't you try your luck somewhere else?
Okay.
Of all the persona you could have chosen, you picked Satan. Because it's true! You can have Satan in your party! Sometimes he's like a major character.
He used to be a member of the Eremites? Huh. From the way he was dressed, I would have thought he was a merchant from the rainforest. Let's ask him about it.
You can also have Mothman, too, who's also really cute. Or Slime. You can just have Slime.
We meet again.
I only know the meme, Jack Frost joined your party without your consent. Yes, there's a chance that some demons in Nocturne will just join your party without you even wanting them to join. Because instead of capturing demons the way you do with Pokemon, where you throw balls at them and then forcibly enslave them, in SMT you have to negotiate with demons to get them to join you. You have to convince them to join you. Which is kind of fucking funny how Pokemon kind of has this, like, forced slavery angle, and in SMT, you're literally, like, haggling with like, Satan to join your party.
Huh? Why are you guys here?
That's what we wanted to ask you. Who are you? Why did you dress up like a merchant to talk to me about our project?
Also, you should know that the very first SMT game, or rather the first Megami Tensei game, predates Pokemon. So they were doing the monster collecting shit first, and then Pokemon came out after.
There's no need for us to continue this project if you still want to keep hiding things from us. I don't work with individuals I can't trust.
As a devout Christian, I would be down to work with SMT Satan. Like, yeah. Well, you can also work with angels. Like, angels are recruitable demons as well. Like, in the context of SMT, every monster, quote-unquote, is called a demon. Even if they're angels.
Believe me, I didn't have any bad intentions. It's just... All right, there's no point hiding anything anymore. The building I'm trying to commission you for is not really a personal residence for me, but rather a library for children living in the desert.
Yeah, the Archangels are usually pretty prominent characters in every game.
A library? Funded entirely by yourself? Shouldn't this be the responsibility of the academia?
Library?
I've heard that the academia will be looking to prioritize the desert with the allocation of educational resources and materials. It sent over a large shipment of regular goods just last month.
They're gonna build, that demeanor change was 100% intentional. When I realized, oh, he's, like, it's altruistic. I tried to work that into Kaveh's, like, shift in personality.
You're right, and I was aware of these happenings as well. I just figured what I want to do is a separate effort from what's already being done by the academia.
Like, oh, you're not just some rich dickhead that wants a mansion. You're doing this for the good of the people.
The desert is too vast. Even if the academia spends a lot of effort trying to disseminate knowledge in those parts, it might still take decades, if not centuries, to reduce the educational gap that already exists between the two regions.
Putting a university in charge of a whole country is a horrible idea. You'll never guess what the plot of the Sumeru Archon quest was about. It was exactly that. Why it's a horrible idea.
And what's more, I don't know if the academia would ever reverse its stance in the future.
And a lot of the problems that these characters face is because the academia is, like, so shitty to work with.
All I know is that as a desert dweller, we should not wait passively for good things to happen to us. If we only did that, we'd never be able to stand up and hold our heads high. I don't have much longer left on this world, so I just want to use whatever time I have to contribute something to my homeland.
Just like real academia? Whoa, let's not get carried away here. The demonization of academia is one of the most serious problems that America is facing at this moment. School is important for people. It's why they can be smart.
I didn't want you to know that
And we need more
desert.
smart people in the world.
I've lived
God,
in the
please.
desert my entire life, and there wasn't anyone here that I could trust. I figured I needed as much safety as I could get.
To the point that you even disguised your identity? That's certainly taking playing it safe to the next level. Hold on. Don't tell me you've also been scammed before.
When I first came to Sumeru City, I brought a lot of Mora, hoping to find an architect that I could work with.
To the people leaving, good night, take care. Auf Wiedersehen, goodbye.
Someone agreed to take on the project, and even took a sum of Mora from me, but then disappeared without a trace. After that, I heard that there are a lot of untrustworthy people in this business. Some would run as soon as they've been paid, while others would deliberately use expensive materials and take a cut of the construction funding.
School needs to be affordable first. You guys will never guess what Finland's doing. Do you know that college in Finland is completely free? It's all funded by the state. You can literally go to Finland and study for a degree for free. Like, they don't charge tuition. Same in Denmark, same in Germany. Yep, it's the same in a lot of places. In Argentina, education is free. Yep. A lot of countries around the world have kind of already solved the problem of education. And America just is way behind on it because it's run by a lot of really old psychopaths. Does that apply for international students too? Yep. I know a lot of people that have gone to Finland just to study. Because it's cheaper to fly out there and live there and study there than it is to, like, study at a private university in America. And, like, that's how they get more new, like, bright minds coming into the country. It's by offering free tuition. Especially for international people. You could have gone to Finland for college? Yep. I mean, you probably would have to learn a bit of Finnish, but yeah. All of Europe basically has it. If you ever get the chance, chat, I'm telling you this, like, as your friend and confidant. If you get a chance to study abroad, take it. Like, it is such an eye-opener. If you've never lived anywhere else outside of the country that you were born, to, like, go out and, like, immerse yourself in another country's culture for an extended period of time. It will open your eyes in all the new ways. I've seen it happen to so many friends that went to Australia for, like, 6 months, and they came back and they were like, oh my god. Like, America is terrible.
I spent a while collecting information in the city, and eventually learned that you're the most famous architect in all of Sumeru. I figured that you wouldn't need to make Mora by scamming people, so I decided to reach out to you.
Problem is, I wouldn't want to return back home. That's fair. I mean, I think that it might make you realize the problems that your country has, but it also might give you ideas of, heck, it might give you hope. Because I've had so many people tell me of, like, problems that they're going and how it seems like there's no future. But it's like there is a future, it's just not in America.
By the way, how did you know I was scammed? I don't think I've ever mentioned that to anybody.
And it also, you know, requires a lot of hard work and stuff like that, but yeah. And again, I know a lot of people might not have the financial means to really do a study abroad program. I'm just saying, if you have the chance, if you have the money, if you have the opportunity, take it.
Just a hunch. A while ago, I accepted an offer to work on a project in the desert, and was also scammed out of a large sum of Mora.
Yeah, I love how he says just a hunch, and then he gives explicit detail.
I ran into someone who was living in a pretty run-down house. I noticed a load-bearing wall on the verge of collapse, and suggested that I build a new house for him. He said that he had no way to pay for it, so I loaned him some of my own Mora, and told him to get some stone and timber from the local vendors. Soon after that, I found out that he had gone gambling with all the money, and lost everything, down to the last coin. And after that, he even borrowed Mora from me twice more, using a different excuse each time. I didn't even suspect him of any wrongdoing until he hired a group of mercenaries and tried to ambush me in his own house.
This is the funniest shit to me, that this man got scammed literally 3 times, and he's like, I didn't suspect that he was doing anything bad until he tried to kill me. Like, he goes to his house, and then, like, there are swords being drawn, and then Kaveh's like, wait a minute. Something ain't right here.
According to him, I looked like an easy target because I was an academia scholar who didn't have any family or friends in the desert. What kind of person would just look at someone else and think, this guy looks like an easy target?
It's because you are one. You literally proved it. You scammed 3 times and you didn't think anything was wrong until he was literally about to kill you.
Those kinds of things do happen every once in a while, yes. Folks like him are the exact reason why us desert dwellers' reputation has gone down the drain. I must apologize to you on their behalf.
It's all right. You were also scammed by someone from Kasharwar after all. I should apologize to you on their behalf. Ultimately, neither of our experiences had anything to do with the desert or the rainforest. People who are new to an area are always easy targets for criminals.
It's this thing where like he is very much he knows that it's like obviously I wouldn't do any of this shit because it's a scam. But, like, in the heat of the moment, he's so wrapped up with being a good person that he just stops operating on logic completely.
Yeah, you'll find both good and bad people everywhere. I can't understand the logic of those who like to take advantage of others, but I have to accept their existence as a fact of life. Anyway, I digress. Let's return to the topic at hand. Did you keep rejecting my designs because you thought I was deliberately using expensive materials to take a cut as a middleman?
That's what I was afraid of initially, yes. I eventually understood that you weren't out to cheat me. But unfortunately, I still don't have nearly enough mora to pay for the design you proposed. I've done the math and know that we should be able to make it if we cut some corners. However, after our conversations, I can see that you're passionate about your design, and I'm quite fond of the proposal as well.
Kaveh had every reason to become a villain. Yeah. I feel like Kaveh's one bad day away from going full Joker mode. But the fact that he's got like this network of friends and he's genuinely a good person at heart, that's what stops him from becoming a jokes man.
So, I decided to try and see if I can afford your proposal as is. I've been looking for work every day, and in another month, I should be able to cobble together enough mora to meet the budget.
By cobble together, you mean you're going to spend your entire life savings on this project? But then, what will you do if something unexpected comes up, and you find yourself stuck with no emergency fund?
What would his evil laugh sound like?
To be honest, I haven't really thought about that. I mean, when you've lived to be my age and something happens, you can't really call it unexpected anymore. All I want is to build this library before I leave this world, so that the children of the future would have some books to read, and the desert dwellers would be able to learn their letters and pick up some practical knowledge. A while ago, I heard that the academia had decided to recruit a number of exceptional children from the desert. Of course, this is welcomed news. But as someone who spent their entire life in the desert, I still have a few concerns. I know the desert life, and can predict what the problems will be. Many children from the desert have had neither the interest nor the proper environment to learn. So even if the academia would take them in, once they enter the halls, they might find themselves surrounded by other children who look and act very differently from them. And as a result, they might become socially isolated.
Can we get a Joker impression as Kaveh?
Hey, Peter. It's me, the Joker.
Are you gonna finish the whole hangout today? No.
Yes, I can imagine that. My father passed away at an early age. Even though I had a good number of friends during my years at the academia, for some time, I still sensed many critical looks in my direction. I'm sure a child coming all the way from the desert will have an even harder time. But let's bring this back to the building itself. I think you said that you want this building to be quiet and warm, with its doors serving as a solid barrier to block out the sound and fury outside, and allow one to focus on the book in their hands. Building it according to the current plan will be quite costly. Even if I don't charge you any commission fees, I don't think we'd be able to keep it under your budget.
Love the fact that he's still considering, like, even if I do this for free, which is on the table for me, we still wouldn't be able to keep it under budget. Like, he was willing to take the hit.
Any ideas on what we can do?
So, this option, I saw Alejandro play through the hangout, and he picked this option and he severely regretted it. So let's go with the other one and leave that one for later.
A slightly different style. Give me a minute. Most architects would probably prioritize cutting costs and removing extra features in this situation. Indeed, converting the building into a simple bungalow would solve most of our problems. However, I do not think this would be the best solution.
That one is fun. I had fun with all of the routes for different reasons. But I do like this route a lot.
While it's true that the aesthetic value of a building is often viewed as an afterthought, neglecting it has some long-term negative consequences. It is especially undesirable in this situation, as the library will serve a high number of children, many of whom would have never been exposed to structures that may be considered elegant or beautiful.
Look how many words are on the screen. Look at all this shit. Look at all these words. Look what they made me do, chat. I had to say so many words.
To completely give up on the more aesthetic design would mean stripping the children of an opportunity to appreciate the beauty of architecture. I share Badawi's sentiments in wanting to preserve a more complex design. However, if we can reduce the ornate aspects of the design while maintaining its fundamental elegance, which is to say we won't touch the arches and stone pillars, but make changes elsewhere, this is definitely a first. To make up for the loss of regular details, we would need to put a lot of extra effort into the layout, lines, and color.
He's like literally rebuilding the entire fucking thing in his head as he's saying all this.
I see. Would that really be okay?
It just increases the difficulty of the design. You should feel lucky that out of all the architects in the city, you chose to approach me. Most of the others would have given up on this project by now.
How many takes did you do of this? I think for all of these lines, I just did 2. There were some moments where I stumbled because, like, I had to say a lot of things. But I would just pick it back up from the last natural pause, and they would edit it together.
And none of you guys realized. None of you realized that it was a line cut up from all of the best parts of the performance that I gave.
As for inspiration, I think I might have something in mind, but I'd need to visit the site to make sure. Where do you want this place to be built? Tell me the exact location.
Aru Village. Although it wasn't my childhood home, I think it'll be the best site for such a building.
Okay, then we can pay a visit to Aru Village.
The little finger snaps, man. I love it.
Is there something I can do for you? I've already caused you a lot of trouble before, and now you're revising the design again because of me. Which draft are we even on now? It's making me feel terribly guilty.
I also have I snap my fingers a bit as a habit, too. I tend to just do this a lot.
Let me think. You said you used to be an Eremite mercenary, right? In that case, you could help us clear out some monsters that are blocking the way to Aru Village. We want to keep the roads clear, and reduce the loss of materials during transport to a minimum. If everything goes well, that'll help us save some Mora.
All right, just leave it to me. If there's anything I'm good at, it's clearing out monsters.
Dude, you're like 80 years old.
What are you waiting for, then? Let's pack up and get ready to go.
Make this old man kill everything for us. Is it ever jarring hearing your voice come from a character? Yes. But not for the reasons you would think. I just keep hearing all of my mistakes whenever I listen to my performances. But lately I've been, you know, curbing that a bit more. I'm trying to enjoy the things that I do
Most
a bit more.
materials going from Caravan Rebat to Aru Village would pass through here.
This line got re-recorded several times because we couldn't decide how to say Rebat and Aru Village.
There are a lot of monsters out here today. If you find it hard to keep up, just let us know.
Oh, don't worry about me. This is nothing. I'll be careful, though, and you should do the same.
Does that make you a perfectionist? I mean, I don't really consider myself a perfectionist. I just want to do a good job. Not a fantastic job, just a good job. But, there are moments where, like, I'm in a thing, and, like, I'm a fan of the thing, and I want my fellow fans of the thing to enjoy it. And I think that me doing a bad job would lead to people not enjoying it, if that makes any sense. Like, I'm incredibly critical of my work in The World Ends With You, the anime, because I'm a huge fan of The World Ends With You. And as a fan, I have, like, specific standards that I want met. Even if it's me doing the standard meeting, you know? Oh no, there's bad guys.
Remember, help comes first.
Things are about to get dicey.
Yeah, I'm keeping Dory. I don't give a shit.
Feast your eyes! Sight clear!
Bro, you good?
I'm fine. I've spent my entire life fighting these kinds of monsters in the desert after all. They won't get the best of me.
I still... Did I tell you guys about how, like, Kaveh first showed up and people's initial reactions were, oh, he sounds too... like, his voice is too deep. Like, oh, his English voice is too deep.
But it's one thing to fight against monsters, and another to fight against an old injury. It's something I picked up when I was young. There were many fights between mercenary brigades back then, and one day someone stabbed me in the back.
With a knife, they stabbed me in the back.
I didn't think much of it back then, but with age, it's caught up to me. Few mercenaries get to enjoy their later years. Failing health tends to take the joy out of reputation and wealth. And many mercenaries never even made much of the latter to begin with.
Maybe the Maddie, thank you so much for the raid. Yeah, how theatrical he was also something that I remember reading people being like, oh, he's too over the top, he's too angry. He sounds too mad when he talks about Alhaitham.
Is there someone you know who can help to look after you?
Unfortunately, no. My wife passed away at an early age, and I don't have any children. Sometimes I'd close my eyes and realize most of my life story has already been written. I have many regrets about my past, but at the same time, I also know that there were never many options for me in the first place.
Yeah, like as his story was developing, I think people just didn't really understand what he was about when he first came out. You know, like they didn't really understand like the whole context of it. And like to be fair, neither did I when I was voicing him. I had an inkling, but I wasn't operating with as much information as I have now of the character. So we were both kind of figuring it out. But you know, like, I think it's good that he's a bit more passionate than other people in the cast, because that just gives it a bit more variance, you know? I could have just played him like a straight-up pretty boy with barely any kind of emotional bigness and loudness, but then he would sound like fucking Ayato. Or Baiju. Or any of the other already, you know, handsome dudes that sound handsome.
I joined the Eremites when I was young, and won many battles with them. My survival was more a matter of luck than actual ability.
I'm not saying Ayato's bad or anything like that. I'm just saying that there was already a vibe that the other characters in Genshin had that I felt like they didn't want me to replicate. They wanted Kaveh to stand as his own person. Like, people were saying, like, the comparison that I saw the most is like, wow, he's, fuck, I'm blanking on his name. Big Loud Oni guy. Geo, 5 stars. What's his name? Ito. Yeah, people are saying he's just like Ito. And I'm like, why the fuck are you comparing this architecture nerd to big boisterous bruiser? And it's because they're both super emotional and super dramatic. You guys are saying that they are nothing alike, but I promise you, I've seen so many people be like, wow, him and Ito, they must have the same voice actor or something. Because it's like Ito also is super, like, high energy and emotional. He's just on the idiot side of the spectrum, while Kaveh's on, like, the depressed genius side of the spectrum. And it also made me laugh a lot, because it's like, is there really only one other character that has emotions in this game? And it's Ito? Like, only... But then playing through the Archon quest made me realize, like, no, this is probably just another weird media literacy problem. All of the characters have a lot of fun nuance to them. They all have emotions. They just have different emotions than what people are used to. And they're not so prominent. Like, Tainari gets annoyed at people a lot, and he shows that in, like, his language and, like, the subtleties in his speech. How he sounds exhausted whenever he's talking about the academia. Like, there's a lot more subtlety. But Kaveh and Ito, they wear their hearts on their sleeves. So that's why people are like, oh yeah, these two dudes are alike because they're both super emotional. It's like, no, they're just a lot more prominent with their emotions. Sino uses his jokes to showcase his thoughts and feelings. You know? He's not always just like this.
If at all possible, I want future children of the desert to have some more options in life. I don't want them to turn out like me. My apologies. The older we get, the more we tend to ramble. Seems like we've already cleared out most of the monsters. Let's hurry over to Aru Village.
But yeah, that's one of the things I do like about this game, how the characters do have depth. Like, they have worked hard to make them all as fully fledged of a people as possible.
I think it's really admirable of him to spend his whole life savings on people he's never met. Maybe he's doing this out of natural kindness. A kindness that hasn't been eroded away by the struggles of his life.
Doesn't that also sound like you, Kaveh?
Perhaps. To clarify, though, I don't think I'm quite the same. Some people call me an idealist. I do have some sentiments of that general persuasion, such as wanting everyone to be able to lead a happy life.
Oh, this is another subtitles don't match the dialogue thing.
But my situation is more complex than that. In the beginning, what drove me to harbor those thoughts was less idealism and more a desire to make up for a sense of guilt.
There's, again, a mismatch there.
When I was young, I impulsively encouraged my father to take part in the first Inter-Darshan Championship, hosted by the Academia. He set off confidently hoping to win something for me, but failed to clinch the title. What's more, he fell into depression after the competition, and requested to join an investigative research project in the desert. I never saw him again. Word has it that he got caught in quicksand. Even if other factors may have contributed to his death, the fundamental cause still circles back to me. I started doing many things in life because I wanted to make amends. Even in cases where I couldn't do something for a specific person, I still did whatever I could. I think I just wanted to make myself feel a little better.
I thought his dad died in the competition? No, he died after.
At this point, even I don't know. I've tried self-reflection, but it didn't help. I can't seem to walk away from many things that I see or hear about, even if they don't directly concern me. And I can't quite pinpoint the source of it.
Ben, what did you feel like while recording those scenes? I don't remember what I felt like. When I'm in the middle of acting as a character, Ben doesn't exist. It's just the character.
Maybe it's just like what those Vahumana scholars often say. It's hard for people to truly understand themselves.
But, you know, if I had to give a word, I felt the pain that Kaveh felt. You know, it's acting, man. I thought, man, what would it be like to have this happen? And then I acted.
I could be doing things out of endless guilt, or I could be doing them out of a strong sense of empathy. It could even just be a matter of conceit. The potential motivations could number in the dozens, but the actions they result in are the same.
Do you think you understand his emotions? I mean, that's for the writer that created this character to really answer that question for me. I just gave an interpretation.
Anyway, I suppose I don't really mind being called an idealist. They also use that term to describe my father. It seemed to carry fewer connotations back when he was around.
That's all acting is in the end, guys. It's just interpretation.
I've known Al-Haytham for many years now, and discussed my ideology with him for nearly as long. Maybe argued is a better word for it.
Do you want Kaveh to meet his mom in-game, or think it's better for her to remain a mystery? I mean, I don't think she's really a mystery at this point. But it does kind of feel wrong if Faranac just showed up in Fontaine. Like, Kaveh's relationship with his mother has so many layers to it. And, like, I can only see them approaching this if it was, like, there we go. Spectrum! It's a Spectrum moment. Spectrum. There we go. Okay, we're back.
We're back.
Raiden's Disaster Child, thank you so much. Hey, remember when Alejandro kept having disconnects and then it was because of Spectrum? Yeah, the same thing is happening to me because it's the same house. We love Spectrum. We love Spectrum. Wahoo. It is my curse now. Anyway. What were we talking about? Faranac. Yeah, there needs to be, like, if she does show up, it would have to be like a dedicated quest, you know?
OMG for months and scuff.
Grimatiated, thank you so much for the 4 months.
He told me a long time ago that no matter how strong of a swimmer you may be, you'll still get dragged under by the others who are drowning once you run out of stamina. He believes this is the fate that awaits all idealists. I still believe I should live by my ideals, and I've given him countless reasons why I think it's a good idea to do so. Perhaps my ideals are flawed, but are there really any perfect things in this world?
Blue Sails, thank you so much for the biddies. And yeah, Alhaitham did give him good advice here, where he said, hey, you know, your idealism will lead to your undoing. But, like, the thing about both of these dudes is that neither of them are technically wrong. But neither of them are also right. It's just two different perspectives. It's idealism versus pragmatism.
Unfortunately, he remains unconvinced. His personality is the exact opposite of my own. If someone happens to drown next to him, he'll most likely stand on the shore and mumble something along the lines of respecting other people's fates.
That's a mini Alhaitham impression there. And I'm Gracie, thank you so much for gifting 2 subs.
But as you can see, I'm not the only idealist in the world. Just as there are different seasons, there are also different people. There are many others who will continue to care about the fates of those who are not directly related to them. And when I finally run out of stamina, someone will also reach out and bring me back to shore.
T for me, thank you so much for the biddies. And yeah, like, this is one very good point that Kaveh has, where he's like, hey, idealists will destroy themselves, but there are other idealists that will help those idealists. It's all about companionship.
Someone will help me, right? Yes, I've already been helped like that before.
Yeah, exactly as Kaveh said. He's already been helped. And you know who helped him? A pragmatist. Alhaitham helped him. I'll help you when the time comes.
But you've helped me plenty already. If you didn't reach out to me, I would probably be passed out on the tavern table right now instead of talking with Badawi. Either way, I'm feeling much better than when you first found me at the tavern. I can feel inspiration already welling up inside of me. Maybe this will be just the opportunity I needed to create a whole new style. All right, let's head to Aru Village.
The funny swimming line. The funny hee-hee. The hoo-hoo. Hee-ho-ha-hoo. Wait. Oh, there it is.
Now that we're here, it's my partner's time to shine. Marak!
Best character. Best character in Genshin. Okay. Once again, we're back. God dang, it's really bad today. It's been windy all day, so I think the spectrum lines are just having a shitty time.
My toolbox. I built it using an ancient mechanical core. It's not too smart, but it's super useful and can help me with a variety of tasks.
If it happens again, I might just call the stream here and then continue later. Biblio Curiosa, thank you so much for gifting a sub. And Anime Gellinetti, thank you so much for the biddies.
I'll take Marak and find a suitable location for the building. Once that is done, I'll get to work on a few designs.
Traveler?
Sitaria?
Ah, you know each other?
Hello. I suppose you must be Kaveh from Kasharawar. I've heard of you before. My name is Sitaria,
and I'm currently the person in charge of promoting educational assistance programs here in the desert.
Educational assistance programs. Then you must be familiar with the local conditions here.
I can't say I'm too familiar just yet, but if you have any questions, I'll try my best to answer them.
You know Sataria? Yeah, I drove her crazy once. We gaslit her into insanity.
I've been commissioned by Mr. Badawi to build a library in the desert. We've settled on the general design direction, but we are trying to finalize some details based on the conditions around the intended location.
Rat Girl, thank you so much for the raid. And Mule, thank you so much for the gifted sub.
A library? Do you intend to open it to the public for free?
We're opening the Derek Zoolander Institute for kids who can't read good.
That's right. I want to make sure the children will have books to read.
That's fantastic! I'm sure the children will be thrilled. Right now, we don't have access to many paper books or a quiet place to read.
Let me get straight to my questions then. Can you estimate the number of children around here who'd be interested in reading? Besides the usual noise of village pedestrians, are there any other sources of noise in the village? Oh, and have any landslides occurred here recently? And also, where are the spots around the village that have been most affected by wind and erosion? All right, that should be everything. Badawi, let's go over the budget again. We'll keep the building structure the same, but make the place a little bigger, so it'll be able to hold more people and get better natural light. The parts of the project that cost the most will be the insulation and ventilation materials. I'm sure you understand, no one likes to read in a place that's hot and stuffy.
This man literally thought up of like a comprehensive library design in like 5 minutes.
I want to make significant changes to the arrangement of the bookshelves, tables, and chairs. I'll go over the specifics of that shortly. I have 2 plans in mind. Both are pretty minimalist in style, but will provide a very different ambiance from the world outside.
And he didn't just do one, he did 2 different fucking designs in his head. Because he's like, hey, I still want to give you options. Do you think you'd ever do a just chatting stream where it's just talking about your thoughts on art and stuff? Yeah. I've been thinking about doing that. I might do that more once I have a VTuber, because that way it's a bit more interesting than just a blank screen with me talking.
Our final cost should be around 70% of the last figure I quoted. The whole thing should take around half a year to complete.
Like, homie did all of this, and he's also like, by the way, it's 30% cheaper, and it's gonna take around half a year to complete.
Marak has produced a sketch for all of you to see. If everyone's okay with it, then we'll proceed with that as the formal plan. The inspiration just came to me naturally. All I did was put thoughts to paper.
I also have realized that I have moments where I feel very inspired. Like if I get... That cat in the background just had the loudest meow. And like if I get an audition that inspires me, like I immediately jump into the booth and get it done.
I must give you credit, though. If it weren't for your advice and suggestions, I probably wouldn't have landed on this new style so quickly.
Parade of Providence is what we recorded first, and then the hangout was way later.
According to the traditions of my profession, I should probably name this style after you. Let's call it the Traveler style.
Dip style.
In the meantime, let's look forward to the day when this building is completed and can finally open its doors.
Da 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 da. Why is who is this guy? Why is he doing the thinking emoji face? Like, we know who she is and who he is, but who's him? Who's he's? Him's who's?
My latest design's getting there, but there's still room for improvement. Better make my finishing touches before the deadline creeps up.
Best character, by the way, right here. Alright. It's back. Alright. It's back again. We're out of the game. We're back here. I'm gonna wrap up the stream before this connection completely obliterates itself. So we completed another route. And we're gonna do more next time. Which one did I like better? I like both of those. Neither of them is my favorite one, though. We still haven't done my favorite one. Oh, it's gonna cut out again. I can already tell. Anyway, we're gonna go raid Amelie. We're gonna go raid. Thank you so much, everybody, for the support, for watching, for all this shit. We're gonna go raid, Amelie. Monarch. Love you all. Thank you also for the support, for everything. Much love. Pay attention to Twitter for the next stream. Also, I'll be better about posting it on the YouTube channel. Bye. Mwah, 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 mwah.